Revelation 12:17. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to make war with the remnant of her seed, who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Now the question is, what is the testimony of Jesus Christ that the remnant has? Revelation 19 verse 10 gives us a definition. It says, and I fell at his feet. John falls at the feet of an angel. I fell at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, see that you do not do that. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren who have the testimony of Jesus. What do the brethren of John have? The brethren of John have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is what? The spirit of prophecy. So what is the testimony of Jesus that the end time remnant has? The spirit of prophecy. And John's brothers have the testimony of Jesus. Now go with me to Revelation 22 verses 8 and 9. Revelation 22 verses 8 and 9. Now I, John, saw and heard these things. And when I heard and saw, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel who showed me these things. Once again, the same type of scene that we saw in chapter 19, verse 9. Then he said to me, see that you do not do that, for I am your fellow servant and of your brethren. What did the brethren have according to Revelation 19, verse 10? The brethren had the what? The testimony of Jesus. But here it says what they are. It says in verse 9, then he said to me, see that you do not do that, for I am your fellow servant and of your brethren, the what? The prophets, and of those who keep the words of this book. Worship God. So what is it to have the testimony of Jesus? It's to be a what? A prophet. So would we expect the end time remnant church to have a prophet? We most certainly would, because the end time church has the testimony of Jesus, which is the spirit of prophecy. And the reason why it's called the testimony of Jesus is because that end time prophet is going to give witness to Jesus. That end time prophet is going to give testimony about Jesus. Some people might ask, Pastor, why do you have two smaller lights at the end of time? Why do you have a canonical source of light, which is the Scriptures, and a non-canonical prophet whose writings are not in Scripture? Why would you need to have two lesser lights? Isn't it enough just to have the Scriptures, that one lesser light that leads to Jesus, the greater light? Let me explain the reason why. You see, just like the intertestamental period brought darkness into the Jewish nation, so the Middle Ages, known as the Dark Ages, brought darkness into the Christian church. Many counterfeit doctrines, false doctrines, like the idea that Sunday is the day that we're supposed to worship, the immortality of the soul, and many other kindred doctrines, the idea of an eternally burning hell. All of these things were brought into the Christian church. Let me ask you, if the Jews had discerned Jesus in the Old Testament, do you think God would have raised up John the Baptist? If they'd seen all that the Messiah was going to do, and when Jesus came, they would have received him with open arms, would God have raised up John the Baptist? No purpose. Does she have it straight? Just like John the Baptist. Not to bring new light, not to bring new doctrines, but to lead people to once again understand the light that is given in Scripture, so that through both a clear discernment can be gained of Jesus Christ. Just to give you an illustration. A few years ago, I was preaching in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was listening to a radio talk show. And this individual, not a Seventh-day Adventist, he was answering questions, and this individual called and he said, Sir, I have two questions. My first Bible question is it a sin to smoke? And the second question is God going to send me to hell for smoking?